Warframe augments, known as the Warframe mod that in any way make a singular ability stronger than usual, or alter their functionality to incentivize new playstyle. Some of them are weak, some of them are strong, and some find themselves in the middle of the road. S-tier augments are known as the best within all augments as they provide incredible power to an ability, whether it is a stat-related upgrade or alternative playstyle. But have you heard of one that also found itself to be an S-tier augment, yet simultaneously irrelevant for set frame? Welcome to the world of Ironclad Charge for Rhino. So, if it is an S-tier augment, why is it irrelevant for Rhino then? Doesn't he scale his iron skin value with armor pretty nicely? Yes, I knew some of you would definitely ask that, though I'm leaving this question for later. For now, let's just take a look at Ironclad Charge in a vacuum first. Ironclad Charge is as simple as it gets. You hit someone with Rhino Charge, you gain base 50% armor rating, scale with strength. There's no cap to how many enemies you can hit, so theoretically, you could get some pretty great numbers. What's not told to many is that this armor rating buff is the first ever multiplicative armor buff in this game. The second being Oberon, which multiplies his total armor up to 100% at 200% ability strength, and give 100% of that total value to allies within affinity radius. Every armor related buffs are additive to something like steel fiber, and to have something that serves as a separate multiplier to it is something you can just dismiss. Anyways, my point is that multiplicative armor buff is really strong. Ironclad Charge as an augment itself is really good. It is just such a missed opportunity that this is not on any frames who interacts with health. Imagine you implement this as Valkyr's passive where you gain 50% armor rating for each kill for 10 seconds, each stack having individual duration. Say you kill 7 enemies, that's 350% armor rating. Assume that she has 7000 armor after Warcry and Hysteria only. That's an easy 31.5k armor, which goes from 24.33 times EHP to 106 times EHP. Turning Valkyr from a frame who has 36.5k EHP to someone who has 159k EHP before you consider anything else like adaptation and eclipse for further DR. Even for Korvax, a frame who only has high base armor, this is also very beneficial. Imagine his tree is a multiplicative armor buff with each plate active, and we assume that he got 30 plates, totaling to 450% armor rating. Assume that we mod both steel fiber and vitality, which leaves him at 1700 armor, 1400 HP, and 9338 EHP. After the armor rating increase, we will be seeing 9350 armor instead and 45k EHP. I think you can see the potential of it now. Even if the percentage is not as high as what Ironclad Charge could reach, it still provides a huge increase to their survivability. Any health tanks would greatly appreciate the existence of such augment being available within their kit, just because it is so synergistic with their nature. One more example, Chroma. Imagine his 4 grants him 1000 armor rating buff at 400% power strength, and with both Cold Ward and Vex armor active, he is now at 12.6k armor with Chroma Prime, and with 2k HP, this turns him from having 86k EHP to a staggering 926k EHP just by this 1000% armor rating alone. You can feel the impact that this augment could bring to any health tank frames as the value goes up. And all of these are nothing but a wet dream, just because it is on the wrong frame. Mind you, such powerful buff is not on any armor-based health tanks, not on any damage reduction-based health tanks, not on healing-based health tanks, but on Rhino, a frame that simply don't give a fuck about armor once you see the real scaling potential of Iron Skin. Enemy damage. In a video where I introduced y'all to base kit Rhino, I once said, "See this augment? Yeah. You can short put this to the stratosphere and it won't matter." You may think that I think of this augment lowly, but in fact, throughout this video, You can tell that just how much I value this augment. I see its potential, but I am sad that it is destined to rot within Rhino's kit simply because Iron Skin have a scaling method already. It doesn't matter that it does scale with armor values, as it is just going to lose to a far superior scaling method on Iron Skin, and that is called enemy damage. Don't trust me? Pull up the Iron Skin scaling formula. Look at it yourself. There is no universe that Ironclad Charge isn't a waste of investment on an ability that scales automatically even at 0 mod situation. I always find myself keep repeating this. Iron Skin is the only survivability tool in this game that requires 0 investment, because a fully decked out Rhino survives just as well as a Rhino who only has Reinforcing Stomp augment modded. All you need to do is to utilize enemy damage, famously seen on a Rhino who stands under a Jade Light for easy 2 million overguard. He doesn't need Ironclad Charge, not even at lower levels like your usual Steel Path, because all those additional numbers just don't matter at levels you will be around. You already got your scaling covered, and when it does somewhat matter like Endurance runs, it simply falls off a cliff. Nothing in Rhino's kit except Iron Skin demands any sort of armor. Iron Skin's scaling formula just doesn't in any way interact with enemy damage, not even ability strength. Rhino Charge doesn't care, Roar doesn't care, and Rhino Stomp also doesn't care. This is why Ironclad Charge is a wasted potential. Rhino, when you realize who is carrying Iron Skin, Ironclad Charge immediately becomes obsolete and barely had any practical uses outside of Iron Skin maxing and health tanking. So what's the solution then? There are two solutions. One is the easy way but could be problematic. One is the hard and much more nuanced way. The easy way is to just redesign Ironclad Charge and makes it so that it no longer gives any armor to Rhino, but it comes with a slew of its own issues that I will discuss later. But here's how the augment works. Each overguarded unit hit will have their overguard stolen by 50%. 10% of the stolen overguard is added to Iron Skin's total value. Obviously, the 10% value is fixed. I don't see it being balanced at all when it scales with strength, as I know how well I can abuse this. While the augment plays into Rhino's focus on enemy damage scaling part of Iron Skin, I can't help but notice 3 key issues within this approach. First is the removal of Iron Skin maxing. While I personally shit on this setup due to its utter inefficiency, clunkiness, the sheer impracticality, and how much Rhino has to sacrifice for it to work, I knew that some may enjoy it because haha, big numbers, me like. Removing such a key part that I knew some Rhino players may enjoy just does not sit right in me. While it can be alleviated through adding the armor rating buff with reduced effectiveness into Rhino Charge itself, it only allows the history to repeat itself, which leads me to the second issue. Like I said before, because Iron Skin already scales with enemy damage, having armor rating as a form of scaling just feels unwanted. While it still satisfies the people that favors the Iron Skin maxing build for the memes, the addition of the redesigned augment only makes the scaling look worse. Even if I gave up on the idea of armor rating as a whole, it still doesn't fix the fact that the armor scaling side of Iron Skin being inferior. With the armor rating increase removed and in favor of enemy damage scaling, this leaves the armor scaling side of it even more in the dust, as the only way that it can be utilized well is removed. That's why I said this method is easy but could be problematic. That's why there's a hard way but more nuanced and leaves basically no problem behind. A literal Rhino light rework. I've wrote tons of reward proposal at this point, but whatever. The intention is simple. I am going to incorporate armor as a whole into Rhino's kit and allow armor as a whole a more worthwhile investment. I'm a rapid fire through this, so please keep up with me. First, I would like to raise his armor value to 400 on Rhino, 450 on Rhino Prime, with his new passive now named as Armor Strength. 4% of the total armor value is converted into ability strength, max 50%. As for Rhino's abilities, the idea is simple. Rhino Charge still deals the same 650 damage, and I would like the damage type to be standardized into blast damage and guarantees a proc, while 25% of Iron Skin's total value is added to the ability itself as damage, which cannot scale with strength but is affected by combo multiplier. In return, Ironclad Charge is nerfed down to plus 25% armor rating from 50%. Iron Skin wise, the formula is slightly altered. The enemy damage scaling part of Iron Skin now interacts with armor, something akin to enemy damage times 1 plus square root of current armor value times 0.01. As for raw, it now also amplifies the total armor value of Rhino and allies within cast radius by 50%, additive to the armor rating via Ironclad Charge. Subsumable variant will not share the armor rating increase. As for Rhino Stomp, it is just as easy as granting Rhino 10% armor per enemy struck, up to 250% for 30 seconds. Armor percent per enemy scales with ability strength, but armor percent cap does not. Ally within cast range receive the gain armor percentage buff for the next 30 seconds. To be honest, while I appreciate Ironclad Charge as a multiplicative armor buff, but in this current state, I can't help myself but to wonder what's its purpose even, when scaling methods like enemy damage is just vastly superior in comparison. This video is to highlight the greatness that Ironclad Charge could possibly reach, and show how much its potential is being squandered just because the frame who has it doesn't even care about armor as much as DE would like him to. That's all for today, see you all next time, goodbye.